The case against former Finance Minister Malusi Gigaba's wife, Norma, has been transferred to the Pretoria Magistrates Court. It will be heard on the 14th of September. Norma appeared briefly in the Hatfield Magistrates Court, flanked by her legal representatives, Advocates Tembeka Toby and Advocate Dalimpofu. Gigaba spent Friday night behind bars after being arrested by the Hawks. The move angering activists who are demanding clarity on the Hawks' involvement in this particular case. Were joined by Wise for Africa's advocate Brenda Madumise. Good evening and thank you so much for your time, Advocate. Firstly, what raised the eye of many activists over the weekend as they watched events around Norma Gigaba's arrest unfold?
Good evening, Cathy, and thank you for the opportunity. What raised the eye really was the fact that the Hawks were involved, right? Quickly, it triggered most of us to sharpen our ears and sharpen our everything so that we can then see what exactly is going on. That's when we took the decision to go to the police station, the Brooklyn police station, on Saturday morning to establish what was the role of the Hawks in all of this. And I must say this to you, that when we got to the police station and just wanted to be taken through, and the police officers who were on duty at the time were quite helpful. And we wanted to establish why is it that Ms. Gigaba has not been able to secure bail, right? Because all of us have got the right to bail. It's constitutionally entrenched. It's your right to have bail given to you, right? We then established that they could not process Ms. Gigaba because they are not in receipt of a docket, right? They do not know what was Norma charged for, right? So that they can then get the investigating officer and get the chief prosecutor to agree on a bail or not agree on a bail, right? And then what that did to us was then to establish why was that allowed? Because if the charge, and you will know that the charge today has been confirmed, and it was confirmed to us on Saturday, that is criminal injury and malicious injury to property. Those two charges do not warrant the Hawks to be involved. It warrants the normal police station or any police officer to do what they're supposed to do in terms of the law. It's quite clear, and the process, the procedure is laid out, is clear. Why was the Hawks unleashed on Norma Gigaba on Friday?
Do you believe that there has been an abuse of process and even an abuse of power in that instance? And if yes, where do you think, at which levels do you think that has happened?
There is abuse of power and authority, right? And that's what we're going to establish. Tomorrow our letter is going out to the president of the country to really answer the question. As he's talking about a fusion center where he's got the SIU, he's got the Hawks, he needs to tell us, how can we trust state institutions that decide on their own, that they can literally change the law when it suits them, and on whose instruction and mandate were they acting on, right? Because if really Ms. Gigaba broke the law, as they say that she is criminal injury and is malicious injury to property, why were the police not aware of all of that, right? And why didn't the Brooklyn police station, the one that arrested Ms. Gigaba? Ms. Gigaba was not arrested by the Brooklyn police officers, was arrested by the Hawks. So that's an overreach. We need to understand on whose mandate were they acting and why.
We're also watching reports about the fact that the Hawks have confiscated some of her devices. This is iPads and cell phones, and that they did this, at least according to News 24, at least 2 weeks ago, without necessarily having a warrant of arrest. So there seems to be a flagrant disregard for process. In just how this entire thing has been handled rather.
Yeah, completely, Cathy, completely. And they were given up until 17 hours this evening to return those Ms. Gigaba's belongings, those gadgets. I will have to confirm whether they've been able to return them. But if they don't return by 5 this evening, then there is an application that is being lodged tomorrow to force them to return those gadgets, precisely because the way they attained those gadgets, it was through nefarious means. They did not allow Ms. Gigaba to have legal representation. They did not allow for her. They did not even explain to her why they were taking her gadgets. They just took them because they believe they have the power to do so. And that's abuse of your power, state power. So, all of us can wake up in the morning tomorrow, some head of the Hawks decides to come and take your stuff and tell you that that's how the Hawks work. No, that's abuse of that power and of that authority.
Of course, we're having this conversation and you're speaking to us as the Director of Wise for Africa, but you're also the chair of the advisory committee that has been advising the President on how to handle issues when it comes to gender-based violence and various other issues affecting women. So you being part of this also brings with it a certain weight, and we can't deny that. Why was we for an organization like yourself, or even for you to be seen to be getting involved in this case?
We got involved precisely because we think it makes a mockery of the work that we have been doing for the past 2 years, right? When we think that all of us are of the same understanding of the rule of law, and why it's important that those who are charged with the responsibility of protecting and serving understand that role clearly and don't abuse it. And then it turns out that they do abuse it. And in fact, Cathy, many women have complained about the disappearance of the docket, right? When they go to a magistrate court to apply for a protection order, that the docket will disappear. So what we're going to be saying to the President is, we have been telling you consistently that this is the treatment that is meted out against women when they have cases that they wish to report. And there is that approach where you want to use your might and your power against women because you think that they are vulnerable and they can't fight back and fight for themselves. So we're going to continue to fight for the women and not be abused in this manner, and use state resources to fight women in this manner.